In the vast ocean of life, we continuously drift through a series of encounters. Some people come into our lives like a gentle breeze, while others leave a deep, lasting imprint on our destiny. But are these encounters truly mere coincidences, or have they been arranged through ancient, predestined connections, bound by invisible threads of cause and effect? It is often said that the people who enter our lives today are those with whom we have shared predestined relationships in previous lives. Some come to love us, some to challenge us, some to teach us a lesson and then depart, and some to fulfill an unfinished promise, even from miles away. If every encounter carries meaning, have you ever wondered, who were we to each other in past lives? Let us embark on a journey to uncover these predestined connections and understand that no one enters our lives by chance, and no separation occurs without reason. Eastern philosophy has long affirmed, fate is predetermined, and everything depends on it. Nothing in this world happens without a reason. Every encounter, whether fleeting or long-lasting, has its purpose. Every person who crosses our path is not there by coincidence but is a part of the eternal cycle of cause and effect, where events sown in the past ripen in the present. People meet not by chance, but by destiny, by the hand of fate. Some come to love us, some to challenge us, some to teach us lessons, and some to walk with us through life. Yet, when we fail to understand the cycles of cause and effect, we often blame fate, perceiving painful encounters as injustices and those who hurt us as bad people. But, if we pause and reflect, we will see that everything has a purpose. All is the arrangement of fate, shaped by the seeds we have planted in the past. Consider the story of a young man living in a time of turmoil. During a fierce battle, he was severely injured, on the brink of death. An enemy soldier secretly saved him, carried him off the battlefield, bandaged his wounds, and disappeared without revealing his identity. The young man never forgot this act of kindness, but throughout his life, he was never able to find the mysterious soldier to repay him. Many years later, after becoming a successful merchant, he traveled to a distant land. On a stormy night, he found shelter in a humble house where an elderly man lived alone. The man was sick and poor, with no one to care for him. Moved by compassion, the merchant stayed and tended to the old man for several months. As the old man lay on his deathbed, he grasped the merchant's hand, tears in his eyes, and said, "Thank you for repaying the debt of the past. I was the one who saved you during that battle." The merchant was stunned. The encounter from the past had not been merely a life-saving chance meeting, it was a bond, a predestined connection between two souls. They had owed each other something, and through the cycle of cause and effect, one had sown the seed, and the other had reaped the fruit. Everything unfolded like a perfect circle. This story is a reflection of our own lives. Who knows? The people we meet today, the ones we love or hate, may be the same souls with whom we have shared connections in many past lives. There is an ancient saying, if there is fate, we can meet even from 1,000 miles away. If there is no fate, we cannot meet even if we stand face to face. In other words, if fate allows, even distance cannot keep us apart. But without fate, we may stand before each other and still feel like strangers. In this life, some people come to help us because, in a past life, we helped them. Some come to test us because we owe them. Some come to teach us life lessons, for they are the ones who guide us toward growth. And some come to stay by our side throughout our lives, bound by a deeper connection than anything else. There are relationships that cause us pain, but that doesn't mean they lack value. Sometimes, those who hurt us the most are the ones who help us grow the most. And sometimes, the ones we love but cannot be with are the very souls who teach us the art of letting go. Fate is not only about love, it governs all relationships in life, whether with friends, family, teachers, students, or colleagues. Every person who crosses our path brings a lesson, whether good or bad. Yet, suffering arises when we fail to understand cause and effect, when we force things that don't belong to us, or when we blame those who come and go, without recognizing that sometimes, separation is also part of fate. When we come to understand the cause and effect in fate, we will no longer hold grudges against those who hurt us. We will stop regretting broken relationships and stop clinging to things that no longer belong to us. We will realize that every meeting has its reason, and so does every departure. This life is short, and everyone who enters it has a role to play. Some may come to teach us a lesson about love, patience, or, at times, the difficult art of letting go. If someone hurts us, we must understand that it is not punishment, but a debt we need to repay. If someone loves us sincerely, we should appreciate it, for it is the good karma we've sown in the past. And if one day someone leaves us, we should smile and say, "Thank you for coming. We met not by chance, but through predestined fate. Whatever happens, I am still grateful." Understanding fate is not about fear or worry, it's about living better. If we want all encounters in life to bring happiness, we must live honestly, live with compassion, for we are sowing the seeds for the future. And when we understand that every encounter is the result of the cause and effect of a past life, we will no longer blame fate. Instead, we will learn to accept everything as a gift from the universe, from cause and effect, from the fate we have created. Have you ever wondered why, among billions of people in this world, we meet certain individuals? Some people pass through our lives in an instant, others stay for a while, and some we cannot keep, no matter how hard we try. Is it all arranged by fate, or is there an invisible law that governs these encounters? The ancients once said, "One drink, one bite, a sip of water we drink, a bite of rice we eat, all have predestined causes." Moreover, can a person entering our life truly be just a coincidence? Cause and effect is the invisible thread that connects people, the result of seeds sown in previous lives. When we speak of cause and effect, many think of it solely in terms of love, a predestined connection between two people. But in reality, cause and effect encompasses all relationships, between parents and children, teachers and students, friends, partners, and even strangers we meet only once. Some people come to love us, others to challenge us, some to help us grow, and still others to bring us suffering as a lesson to overcome. This is not the injustice of fate, but the results of causes and conditions woven from what we have done in the past. Buddhism teaches, when the causes and conditions are sufficient, we will come together, when the causes and conditions are exhausted, we will part. This means no meeting is permanent, and no separation is accidental. Every person who enters our life has a reason, whether to teach us a lesson or to continue writing new chapters in our journey. The ancients also said, if you want to know what you did in your past life, look at your present life. If you want to know what your next life will be like, look at what you are doing today. Causes and conditions are not a distant mystery, they are the results of karma. Karma is the actions, words, and thoughts we've created in the past, and fate is the opportunity for that karma to bear fruit. If we have helped someone in a previous life, they will come back to help us in this life. If we have hurt someone, they may return to us to repay that debt. There's a story about a wealthy merchant who gave alms to the poor every day. He didn't expect anything in return, he simply wanted to help those in need. Many years later, while traveling, he was robbed of all his possessions and found himself stranded in a foreign land. At the end of his rope, a poor farmer helped him, offering food and shelter without expecting anything in return. When the merchant returned to his hometown, he realized that the farmer was the child he had saved in the past. That is fate, a never-ending cycle of cause and effect. In Buddhism, causes and conditions are classified into 5 categories, each playing a significant role in shaping our lives. The first category is the relationship between parents and children. This bond is not random. Some children are born into loving, supportive families, while others are born into poverty or hardship. Each child comes to their parents for a reason, whether to repay a favor, seek revenge, settle an old debt, or even collect one. Some parents dedicate everything to their children, only to be abandoned later. This may reflect a karmic debt being repaid from a past life. The second category concerns those who support us in life, friends, colleagues, and teachers, people who help guide us along our journey. For example, when a teacher meets the right student and leads them down the right path, it is also a predestined connection. The third category involves those who create challenges and adversity in our lives. Not everyone who enters our lives is there to help us. Some come to cause us suffering, test our strength, or encourage our growth. There are individuals who betray or hurt us, but these experiences are also part of a karmic connection. The fourth category includes those who help us grow spiritually and mentally. These are the enlightened teachers, inspirational figures, and anyone who plays a role in awakening us. It could be a book we read at just the right moment or a piece of advice we hear when we need it most. These encounters, too, are predestined connections. The fifth category involves those who enter our lives to help us repay past karmic debts. Some people love one another deeply but cannot be together because they owe each other love from a previous life. There are others whom, no matter how hard we try, we cannot keep, because the debt has already been settled. It is said that in a certain region, there was a wealthy but arrogant man who often looked down on the poor. One day, he encountered a beggar asking for a meal. Not only did he refuse to help, but he also chased the beggar away. Many years later, the man lost everything and became a wanderer. One day, when he was about to starve to death on the side of the road, a stranger appeared and gave him a bowl of rice. When he looked closely, he realized that it was the beggar he had once chased away. Fate works like that. What we give out, we will receive, though we may not know when. Like couples who love each other but struggle throughout their lives, they may not understand that their challenges are part of a karmic debt from a previous life. When that karma is paid, the connection fades. If we understand that every encounter in life has a purpose, we will no longer blame fate. Instead, we will appreciate the good people around us and learn to forgive those who have hurt us. Fate is like flowing water, it doesn't need to be forced or held on to. When it arrives, accept it. When it leaves, let it go. After all, every encounter is just a small piece in the endless cycle of cause and effect. In this life, we often hope for perfect, lasting relationships, a love that never fades, an eternal friendship, a connection that remains unshaken. But the reality is different. Some people come into our lives not to love us, but to teach us lessons, to help us grow, and then move on. These are the people who arrive at the right time but cannot stay with us until the end. They enter our lives like the wind, bringing unforgettable moments, and then, like the wind, they disappear. We may want to blame fate or feel hurt, but if we understand cause and effect, we'll see that everything happens for a reason. People tend to believe in karma only when it brings good things, when we meet someone who loves us completely or when we form close friendships. We think of it as a blessing. But when we are betrayed, when we love someone we can't be with, or when we meet people who hurt us, we believe fate is unfair. The ancients said, to have a strong soul, you must go through deep wounds. No one lives this life without suffering, but the most important thing is what we learn from those wounds. Some people appear not to make us happy, but to help us understand ourselves, to help us grow, and to appreciate what we have. Happiness doesn't only come from good experiences, it also comes from overcoming the challenges we once thought we couldn't bear. The ancients also said, people come and go, it's normal, like the moon waxing and waning, like clouds forming and dispersing. In the cycle of life, every relationship is a link in the chain of predestined connections from past lives. Some people come to love us, some to test us, and some to teach us important lessons. The best teacher in our life isn't always the one who loves us most, it's sometimes the one who hurts us the most. Some people come to teach us tolerance, others to teach us how to let go, and some to teach us how to grow stronger. Each person is a page in our life story. Some pages bring joy, some bring tears, but all are necessary to complete our journey. The ancients also said, if there is fate, we can meet even if we're 1,000 miles apart. If there is no fate, we cannot meet even if we stand face to face. We meet because of fate, but to be together, we need debt. If fate is strong enough but the debt isn't paid, we will remain mere passers-by in each other's lives. People often say, we missed each other in this life, but it's not really about missing someone, it's just that fate wasn't enough. Some separations aren't losses, they're liberations. Sometimes, we love someone, but staying with them would cause more pain. Sometimes, we want to keep someone close, but they have to leave to fulfill their mission. Love is not just about holding on, but about learning to accept loss. Imagine a couple deeply in love, facing many challenges together, only to find that in the end, they must part ways. The boy once promised to love the girl for life, but an event forced them to separate. Both were heartbroken, tormented, and blamed fate. Years later, when they crossed paths again, they had both changed. The boy had become a calm, mature man, and the girl had created a new, happy life for herself. They realized that if they had stubbornly held on to each other back then, neither of them would have grown into the person they were now. Separation wasn't the end, but rather a turning point that allowed them both to become better versions of themselves. No one enters our life by chance. If they love us, it's a blessing of fate. If they hurt us, it's part of a karmic cycle that needs to be balanced. That's why we should cherish everyone who crosses our path. Don't hold grudges, don't cling too tightly, and don't fear loss, because when a connection is over, no matter how hard we try to hold on, that person will leave. But if the bond is meant to last, no matter the distance, they will return, carried by the endless flow of cause and effect. Our actions affect not only our current lives but also ripple into the future and beyond. If we wrong someone in a past life, they may return in this life to seek justice. If we've helped someone, they may come back to repay us. Everything follows the law of cause and effect, with not even a single step out of place. There's an old saying, when will the revenge of grievances end? Debts of gratitude, debts of suffering, debts of fate, debts of karma, all must be repaid in one way or another. But many don't realize that paying these debts doesn't always mean suffering. Sometimes, it's an opportunity to resolve issues from past lives, to change our karma, and to grow as individuals. When we understand fate and cause and effect, we begin to see that everyone who enters our lives has a purpose. They don't come by accident, they help us learn something or fulfill a part of our own destiny. Some people bring warmth, tolerance, sincere love, and precious friendship. They may be our life partners, our confidants, or teachers who guide us through difficult times. These people are often the result of good karma from past lives, individuals we've helped or shared a deep connection with in the past. Not everyone who comes into our lives is meant to love us. Some appear to challenge us, test our patience, determination, or tolerance. They may be the ones who betray us, hurt us, or lead us astray. But it's through these challenges that we grow. If we look closely, we'll realize that these people aren't our enemies, they're strict teachers on our journey of self-discovery. Sometimes, when we're confused or uncertain, someone will suddenly appear to point us in the right direction. It could be a teacher, a friend, or even a stranger. They come to remind us of something important or to help us awaken to a deeper truth. Some relationships last, but not to bring us happiness, rather, to help us develop a specific virtue. One person may teach us patience, another may help us learn forgiveness. Often, these lessons come through hardship, but if we are aware, we'll understand that no encounter is ever truly meaningless. A woman once shared her story. When she was young, she had a beautiful love, but she coldly abandoned that man to chase after a fleeting dream. The man was heartbroken, but he quietly walked away without complaining. Many years later, when life became difficult for her, she met another man. This time, she was the one who was loved wholeheartedly, but this man left her coldly. It was then that she truly understood the pain of being abandoned, the very pain she had caused the man in her past. What we do is never lost, it only returns to us in another form when we least expect it. When we hurt someone, we might think everything is over, but the universe doesn't forget, and karma doesn't forget. If we understand that every encounter happens for a reason, we'll blame fate less. If we realize that no one comes into our lives to hurt us, but rather to help us learn, we'll resent less. If we learn to accept, we won't create new karma, and we won't owe any more debts in the next life. It's important to treat people with sincerity and kindness. If we love someone, we should love them with all our heart, without deceit. If we hurt someone, we should sincerely apologize and try to make things right. If we meet someone who makes us sad, we should ask ourselves what they came to teach us. The ancients said, "Do not ignore small evils, and do not overlook small good deeds, because every action we take, no matter how small, can set off a chain of cause and effect that lasts through many lifetimes." Every encounter in life is a perfect arrangement by the universe. No one comes without a reason, and no one leaves without leaving a trace. If we can understand this law, we will hate less, suffer less, and live more peacefully. We should cherish those who come into our lives, whether they bring love or pain, because they are all our teachers in this journey of life. When we learn the lessons they bring, we will no longer blame karma, but instead, we'll smile and accept our path with a peaceful heart. There's a saying, life is like a dream, fate brings people together and fate separates them, it is the will of heaven. No one enters our lives without a reason. If we meet someone who loves us, it is a blessing. If we meet someone who hurts us, it is a lesson. But whether it's a blessing or a lesson, it all stems from cause and effect. The ancients taught, what you sow, you reap, but few people understand that the consequences come not only from this life but from past lives as well. We often think of ourselves as victims of fate, but in reality, everything that happens is created by us. If someone hurts us, we should remember that perhaps we've hurt someone in the past. If someone helps us unconditionally, maybe we helped them in a past life. Karma doesn't leave anyone out, and it doesn't miss a single step. There's a Buddhist story about a man who lost all his property, was abandoned by his wife and children, and was turned away by his friends. He went to see a Zen master and complained that life was unfair. The Zen master simply smiled and said, "What you are experiencing is the result of what you've done. Accept it like a boat meets the waves, without resentment and without running away. Just face it." And indeed, after the man understood this, he no longer blamed his fate. Instead, he lived more honestly and calmly. By the end of his life, all his suffering gradually disappeared. He had a happy family and trusted friends, because he had learned to accept. Remember, all the suffering or happiness in our life doesn't come from the outside world, but from how we react to it. If we choose to blame, we will only experience unhappiness. If we choose to accept, we will find peace. One of the biggest causes of human suffering is attachment. We hold on to old relationships and past hurts. People no longer belong to us, but karma doesn't work that way. What comes, accept it. What goes, let it go. Lao Tzu once said, "Do as if not doing, hold as if not holding." This means that in life, we should embrace all relationships fully, but when it's time to let go, we shouldn't cling to them. A leaf falls from a tree, not because it wants to, but because it's time. A person leaves our life, not because they are heartless, but because fate has played its part. There's a story about a man who loved a girl deeply, but in the end, she left him for someone else. He was devastated, always thinking that fate was unfair. One day, he went to see a Zen master and asked, "How can I forget someone?" The Zen master replied, "Can you hold a gust of wind in your hand?" The man answered, "No." The Zen master smiled and said, "Then don't try to hold on to what no longer belongs to you." Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or denying the past, it means accepting that the past has completed its purpose and is no longer needed in the present. Someone once said, "What belongs to us will return, even if we travel 1,000 miles. What doesn't belong to us will only cause suffering, no matter how hard we try to hold on." Instead of clinging, we should learn to be grateful for what has passed and cherish what we have now. In the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu wrote, "The Tao is natural, meaning the highest morality is to follow nature." The same is true of fate, don't force or resist it. If a person should stay, they will stay, if a person must leave, let them go. In an ancient forest, the trees stand strong for hundreds of years, not because they resist storms, but because they know how to bend with the wind. It's the same with people, the more we resist cause and effect, the more we suffer. Only when we go with the natural flow can we find true peace. Lao Tzu also taught, a stream of water can pass through rocks, not because it is strong, but because it knows how to follow the path of least resistance. In life, instead of suffering over those who have left, let things happen naturally. Let fate come and go like clouds in the sky, gently and leisurely. Every encounter in life is a result of cause and effect. People come and go, and each has a purpose. We can't change karma, but we can change the way we face it. Be grateful for what has come, accept what has gone, and cherish what is. Don't blame when someone leaves, and don't hold on when a door closes. Everything that happens has its meaning, it's just that sometimes we're not calm enough to realize it. When a relationship ends, thank it for helping you grow. When someone enters your life, cherish them, as they are part of your journey. Karma is neither wrong nor unfair. As long as we live sincerely, honestly, and without resentment, we will see that life is a beautiful lesson, and every encounter, whether happy or sad, is a blessing. Believe that the person who should come will come, the person who should go will go, and the person who belongs to us will eventually return under the vast sky of life. We keep walking, meeting, and parting. Life is like a river, and every encounter is a ripple on the surface of the water. It can be short or long, but it is never accidental. Every fate we encounter, every person who enters our life, whether it's for a fleeting moment or a long journey, carries meaning, a cause and effect that has been woven from previous lives. There are people who come into our lives like the morning sun, bringing warmth and hope. They teach us how to love, give us peace, and help us believe in good things. But there are also people who enter our lives like a storm, hurting us and making us fall. We may feel pain and want to blame them, but one day we'll realize they came to teach us a lesson. They help us grow, showing us that love isn't always gentle, it can sometimes be a challenge that helps us become stronger. Without people like them, we could never grow. Lao Tzu once said, "Know the light but embrace the darkness, know glory but learn to accept humiliation." In life, we must learn to accept that not everyone who enters our lives will stay, and not everyone who leaves is a loss. People leave, not because they are bad, but simply because their time in our lives has ended. They've completed their mission, and we've completed ours in their life. The more we blame and hate, the more we hurt ourselves. The more we cling to the past, the more we forget that fate is like a stream of water, it flows in when it's meant to, and flows out quietly when it's time. The ancients have a saying, if it's meant to be, we will meet even if we are thousands of miles apart, if it's not meant to be, we will not meet, even if we're standing face to face. People with whom we have fate will meet again, even if they are far away. People without fate, even if they are right next to us, are just strangers passing by. When we understand this, our hearts will feel lighter. We won't be so stubborn or suffer over things that can't be changed. We will learn to cherish the people who are with us now, instead of chasing those who have already left. We will learn to be grateful for what we once had, instead of regretting what we've lost. So, in this life, let's live in a way that when someone enters our life, we only create good karma. Let's treat them with sincerity, because who knows, they might be a piece of karma from a previous life. Let's leave behind beautiful memories, not wounds. If we can't keep someone by our side, at least let's send them off with a smile. Don't turn meetings into regrets, and don't let memories turn into wounds. Someone once asked, "How do I know who is important in my life?" The answer is simple: it's the person who, no matter how much time passes or how many years change, we still remember with gratitude. No hate, no resentment, just a heartfelt thank you for their presence, for the lessons they taught, and for helping us understand the meaning of karma. In life, what matters is not how many people we hold on to, but what we leave in their hearts. Maybe we won't walk with them to the end of the road, but if we've shared part of the journey, let those memories become something precious. Let's not let our encounters become karmic debts in another life. Live kindly, live with compassion, because who knows? We may be planting good karma for the future. After all, life is a long chain of karma. Every person we meet is part of a larger picture called fate. Some people come to be companions, some come to teach us a lesson, some come to help us grow, and some come to teach us that sometimes love means letting go. No one appears in our life by chance, and no one enters without reason. Cherish each person and each moment, because everything is karma, everything is part of the universe's plan. So, don't blame, don't hate, let every encounter be a lesson, a valuable experience. Live honestly, live compassionately, because who knows? We may be sowing good karma for the future. And who knows? One day, somewhere, the people we met today might meet us again in another life, as a response to fate, a memory that's being continued.